The argument online is a stupid 100 men against one silverback gorilla. It's a debate for children and idiots who have never heard the true, wet sound of a dying ape. It makes me remember the Congo. It makes me remember the smell. I wasn't a tourist. I was a volunteer with a group whose name I've scrubbed from my memory, sent to the DRC on a mission I thought was about conservation. The man who met me at the airport had a smile that didn't touch his eyes. He was the head of the local initiative. My only friend in that sweltering, insect-thick air. He took me to a village that smelled of wood smoke and something else, something sour and metallic beneath the scent of cooking. That's where I met our scorts. 6 men with rifles that looked older than they were, their eyes as flat and dead as river stones. The organizer called them protection from hostile animals. I felt a low dread, a primal understanding that the guns were not for animals. They were for enforcing orders. We trekked for miles into a green hell. The jungle wasn't beautiful. It was a suffocating, living thing that pressed in from all sides, buzzing, shrieking, watching. When we reached the clearing, the air changed. It grew still, heavy. And then I saw them. The gorillas. They were not the gentle giants from documentaries. They were primordial power made flesh. The silverback was a mountain of shadow and muscle, his intelligence a palpable force in the clearing. He watched us with a deep, ancient knowing that froze the blood in my veins. He wasn't scared. He was assessing a threat. That's when the soft clicks came from behind me. Not the jungle. The sound of safeties being switched off. I turned. The organizer and his men had retreated, forming a half circle. Their rifles were no longer slung over shoulders. They were aimed. "Go on," the organizer said, his voice devoid of all its former warmth. It was a cold, sharp thing. Walk toward it. My body refused to move. "What? No. You said to stay at the edge. The plan has changed. We needed to charge. You are the bait." The world tilted. This wasn't conservation. This was a hunt, and I was the lure. "Please, we're friends." His laugh was a short, ugly bark. "Friends. The rich men in the city pay a year's wages for a single pound of its meat. That is not a gorilla. That is a walking fortune. And you are the key to getting a clean shot. Now move, or we will shoot you in the legs and leave you for it. Either way, it comes out of the trees." The choice was not a choice. It was a slow walk to the gallows. Every step through the damp earth was a betrayal. The silverback's gaze locked onto mine. He didn't understand the guns, the treachery. He only understood the fear rolling off me in waves. He rose to his full height, a breathtaking, terrifying spectacle of raw power. He beat his chest, not as a challenge, but as a warning. A final, thunderous plea for me to stop. A shot rang out, not aimed at the gorilla. A bullet kicked up dirt at my feet. "Closer," the organizer screamed. I took another step. The gorilla roared. The sound was not just noise, it was a physical pressure, a wave of pure, undiluted rage and confusion that vibrated in my teeth. Then came the second shot. This one found its mark. It wasn't a clean kill. It was a gut shot. The massive beast bellowed. A sound of such profound, agonizing betrayal that it will haunt me until I die. It wasn't a roar of anger anymore. It was a scream of pain. The poachers didn't fire again. They waited. They let it suffer, let it bleed out, let its strength fade into shock and agony. It collapsed, its breath a wet, ragged torment. The organizer walked forward, bold now, and put his boot on the gorilla's neck. He gestured for me to come closer. The photo. Now. I was forced to kneel in the hot, blood-soaked dirt. They handed me a machete and made me hold it near the wound. They posed, smiling, their rifles held high like trophies, while I stared into the dying ape's face. His eyes were still open. They held no anger now, only a deep, bottomless sorrow. A silent question. Why? The life drained from them as the camera shutter clicked, preserving my shame for eternity. As they butchered the body, the organizer put a hand on my shoulder, his grip like iron. "If you ever speak of this," he whispered, his breath hot in my ear, "we will not kill you. We will package you and sell you to men who pay a premium for long pig. Your meat will be served at a banquet." The photos leaked. My face was spared, but my soul is in every pixel. So when I see fools online debating 100 men against one gorilla, I want to scream. Men with rocks and sticks. The gorilla wins every time. It would be a slaughter. But men with treachery, with greed, with rifles and a willing human sacrifice. The gorilla never stood a chance. We didn't fight it. We murdered it. And I led it to the altar,